It's got to turn red up here.
It's loading right now.
Did it come on? Did it say start? It already started?
It's red.
Hey, are your headphones up?
It's okay.
You can. Okay. Just earlier, the lady was turning everything
Huh?
down. So the lady that was here earlier turned everything down. I just want to make sure it was still up.
No,
You
it's
can
already,
hear?
it's okay.
So you can hear? Okay. You guys are up in about 30 seconds.
Huh?
You guys are on in about 30 seconds.
Okay. Welcome. Welcome to the Chips and Salsa show. And this is Jorge. And I'm opening the show today, our Friday edition of the Chips and Salsa show. And with me, I have my good friend and our co-host, Augie Barton. Augie.
Hi, Jorge. It's good to see you again.
And we don't have Martin Gonzalez. He's homesick. He had a tooth pull, and he's under medication, and he couldn't drive. So
That sounds painful.
I know. And I was looking at. He had pictures on Facebook, and he looks real smiley. He was all smiles. I don't know if you've seen the picture on Facebook, and he looks like he's feeling no pain. So whatever they injected him with, he was like happy.
Well,
So,
that's good. He's been eating too much candy, or what's
well,
been
his
going on?
tooth cracked and broke, so he had to, it was really painful. So he had to go to the dentist, and they said that he had to have it pulled because it was really
That's the
bad.
worst.
Yeah. So he's at home recuperating. He'll be here next Friday, and Alice is out of town with her family, La Familia, and she might be calling in a little later. We have a caller. Do we have a caller or no?
Alice has been quite the world traveler this summer.
Huh?
Alice has been quite the world traveler. She
I
seems
know.
like she's been going all around.
She's spending a lot of time with Familia, and she's doing good. She'll be here next week, and so will Martin. I won't be here next week because I have a Cardinals game I have to be doing security for, and the college game. They have the Cardinals will be playing, and also the ASU is going to be playing on Thursday.
I can't believe football
Friday.
season's back.
I know. Well, it's still a practice game with the Cardinals, but then ASU plays the game. I don't know if it's with the. I don't know who's playing. I know it's ASU. I don't know if it's across the two colleges, but it's at the Phoenix Stadium, and I'll be doing security for them for that college game, and also Monday I'll be doing elections. That's another thing. We're election central here for the next 2 weeks, so we're going to give you advice, and we're going to let you know about. We're not going to tell you who to vote for because we're going to leave that up to you. But we will discuss some of the elections if it comes up in our topics, and we want to remind everybody to mail in those mail-in ballots. Take them to the post office as soon as you can. Make sure you sign the back of it. I have one.
Now, did we
I have
decide? Is it too late to send it?
You can
in
still
via
mail it. No, you can still mail it. Just drop it in the post office.
and it'll be counted by
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Well, no, not by Tuesday, because
So it'll be a
it's-
provisional.
no. What you do is, yeah, it'll be like provisional. What you do is take it to your polling place and just drop it in the box. You go to any polling place. Doesn't have to be your polling place. You can go to any polling place. Make sure you sign it. If everybody sees on YouTube, we're live on YouTube and live on KFNX. Make sure you sign the back of the envelope before you turn it in, because that's very important. Mine's, you see, I'm gonna deliver mine's, hand deliver it tomorrow, because I'm gonna be at the election central tomorrow. I have a job over there as a troubleshooter, so I have a class tomorrow morning from 8 o'clock to 12 noon where they instruct us what to do. We go to each polling place, we meet the inspectors, and we set them up, set their whole program up, and I keep going to different polling places, and they call it a troubleshooter, where you go and you solve any problem that comes up. I have special instructions how to do it, how to solve the problems. I have a special line directly to the election central, and other troubleshooters that know more than me could solve any problem that I can't solve. So it's going to be interesting. I've never done this before. I'm doing it for the first time, and it's going to be fun. I've been an inspector for 2 election cycles. An inspector, you're in charge of the polling place. And then I've been a judge, and I've been a marshal. So this is the next step up to where you're involved in the election process by helping solve problems that come up. Because there's problems that do come up. Because I remember when I was an inspector, one of the polling, the computers wasn't working. The big machine where you put the ballots was kicking the ballots out. And when the troubleshooter got there, they solved the problem with the computer. They just reprogrammed it. And, everything's laptop now. They have the laptop, which is great. The e-poll machines, those are the best thing they ever came up with.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the big machine that took the ballots, it was just defective. So the troubleshooter brought a spare, because you carry a spare with you. You bring in the spare, take out the cartridge, put the cartridge in the new one, and you punch in the code, and it's up and ready to go. And you're off to the next place, and you have to take that defective one back to the center. They'll give you another spare. So you always have a spare as a troubleshooter.
Yeah, it sounds like you really know the elections process.
It's fun. It's fun, and what you do is you go in there as you're non-political. I'll go in there not as a Republican, not as a Democrat, not as an independent. I go in as a poll worker. So I try not to influence anybody in the voting. I'm not supposed to. I could observe, and if I observe something wrong, not being done properly, I could let the inspector know, and they're supposed to call.
Like, what would be an example of
if
something you might see?
Well, if somebody's in there, let's say an independent is in there, and he's saying, you should vote for this person, you should vote. No, they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to go in there, vote, and not interrupt the voting process, and not give their opinion on anything. Now, you could take, when you're outside, somebody gives you a handout. You could take that in with you and put it on your in your booth and vote the way it says it, if that's what you want to do. But you can't have somebody standing next to you, or somebody, disrupting the voting process by telling people, vote this way, vote that way. Illegal stuff that's not that can't be done. Or if somebody's having trouble, I'm bilingual. If they don't have a bilingual person in there, I could help interpret, for them. Anything that I can help them with. If I observe something irregularity, I could report it. If it's egregious, egregious.
Now we have some heated primaries coming up on Tuesday. I don't know if we're going to talk about this later in the show.
Oh, we could talk about it. Yeah.
You're talking so much about elections and the process.
Yeah.
I know that we have some contested primaries.
And those are going to be fun. We could talk about that. That's not a problem. I could talk about it here. I just can't. I put a different hat on starting tomorrow.
Well, and it seems like more of the contested primaries are on the Republican side than really on the Democratic side.
Oh, it's a battle on the Republican side. An example: Glendale Mayor. They're accusing the opponent of not putting his address on some of the mailers that he sent out, and they were contesting that. I don't know how that turned out because I haven't seen the updates. I was trying to look at the updates on the laptop. I couldn't find them. So I don't know how that's turning out. Jerry Weiss is running for re-election, so they were complaining that the opponent, Brodick, I think his name, Brodick, I probably butchered his name, but he's running against him, and I think they were sending we got 2 minutes left, 2 minutes, okay. They were saying that he did some mail-outs against the incumbent mayor, that they were like attack ads, mail-outs, but they didn't put the address where they were coming from, and so that the Wires, political party said, hey, this is wrong, and it violates the rules. So
Yeah.
they were going to file something on that. And I know Kelly Ward is like her ads are just like, I mean, she's putting a lot of ads, but so is McCain, and his ads are. I mean, I think there's like it's a battle.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say how that's
Kelly Ward,
gonna turn out.
she's been on our program, and I've met John McCain and everything. So they're both good candidates. I think that it's going to be tooth and nail to the end there, and
Well, I mean, whoever gets by the primary, it sounds like
It
there's
has
going to be a competitive general election this time around.
It's gonna, and Kirkpatrick's not gonna bend. She's not gonna go easy. She's gonna, she's gonna be very tough on whoever is running, because she's already gotten tough on McCain with some of the ads that she's posted. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of this segment. We're gonna come right back. Augie, do you have one or two more words to say before we cut off here?
We'll be back. We're going to talk a little bit about immigration and how things have been heating up in the presidential race.
Oh, that segment went by quick. Don't forget Rosita's Fine Mexican Restaurant. Call in 602-277-5369 for your free gift certificate. Okay, wow. That was quick.
Maybe when we come back.
Okay, you're going to bring it in.
Do you want to? I think you should talk. I'll mention Rosita's. Was he going to say something about Rosita's?
Yeah, go to, I forget his name. Get his name.
Does he speak from there? Or?
Yeah, he's going to talk on the mic. You'll hear him on earphones. This is a fast show, people.
All right, we'll come. I'll bring it back in.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna kick it over to Ryan.
Okay, and then when it comes back to me, I want to talk about one of the arroz con pollo. I have that one here. $12.95. That's not bad. You get a $50
For what?
Arroz con pollo, grilled chicken, breast topped with our special white cheese sauce with green chili on a bed of Spanish rice. Served with ensalada de cazuela, casuela, Casuela, cazuela, and flour tortilla. I like arroz con pollo. It's just one of my favorites.
So you're gonna mention that as well?
But that's what I'm going to mention here is that, they have carne picada, carnitas,
One minute. Okay.
arroz con pollo, chicken mole, but the best is arroz con pollo.
Hi,
Hi.
Hey, how you
Judy.
doing?
Jorge.
Hi, Judy. Nice to meet you.
I'm nicer than Martin.
So we were.
You can sit right there next to him and just put the earphones on so you
So I think what
and you just
what I was
just chime in whenever you're.
what I was looking at 30 seconds.
Uh-huh.
What I was looking to get into in this one is you had mentioned something about immigration. So I thought maybe we could talk about immigration, maybe talk about the new startup visa that the Obama administration had proposed, and then a little about the presidential kind of the back and
10
forth
seconds.
barbs.
6, 5.
You want to chime in?
Watch the red light.
Those are the ones I was thinking of. Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. It's Friday, August 26th, and this is Augie Barney. I'm here with Jorge Ortiz.
Jorge Alacran in place of Martin Gonzalez. I've never done this side of the table, but it's enjoyable. I might take it away from Martin once in a while.
Yeah, I think it suits you. You look pretty good over there.
We got another guest that came in. You want to announce her, Marti?
We do have another guest, and this is her second time on
Yeah.
the Chips and Salsa Show. Prominent Latina attorney Judy Davila. Welcome back.
I love that introduction. Thank
You
you.
can turn that.
Thank you.
There you go.
Now, when we were leaving the first segment, you had brought up Rosita's fine
Right.
Mexican food, and actually Ryan, who's here in the station, recently tried Rosita's Mexican food, and he had some positive things to say about it. So, what did you like there, Ryan?
Food
True
drunk.
drunk on salsa.
Oh, that's great. You can tell them the number to call for the gift. We have a gift certificate for $50, and you heard
$50 gift certificates.
he just went and he just had a great. The number's right up there.
Oh, the number.
Right behind our guest. Or 5369.
5,
Call
okay.
in and give your name. That's all you have to do, and you'll get a free
$50 gift certificate.
$50 gift certificate. And we're going to try to give at least one or two of them out today. So, and that's our board op back there. I love the arroz con pollo, grilled chicken breast topped with our special white cheese sauce with green chilies on a bed of Spanish rice. Oh, it's making me want to go to Rosita's today. But and that's only like it's very inexpensive. But if you have the gift certificate, you don't have to worry about it. And you got carne picada dinner. You got the carnitas, casadeos.
Well, now that our mouths are all watering.
Yeah. So go right ahead.
So I thought, yeah, this segment, I think this past week, now that the Olympics are over, and you know, for many of us, we're looking what do we occupy our time with. This week in particular seems like there's been a lot of back and forth barbs at the presidential race between Mr. Trump and Mrs. Clinton.
Yeah, about that, about the Clinton Foundation and about racism.
Especially about racism and bigotry and
that,
just throwing a lot of terminology out there, back and forth.
And you know, both of them are guilty of one way or the other of racism in their part. But it's gotten really dirty. I mean, Hillary she went to town. She accused him of KKK, even though she says that Robert Byrd was a mentor of hers. It's beyond the scale. I mean, I think they shouldn't have gone there. I mean, they could talk about the economy, how they would improve the economy.
There's really no policy talk going on right now, but
And whose fault is that?
well.
I mean, why is the conversation directed that way?
Well, I mean,
This one candidate we've had in our lifetime who's just made race such a prominent issue, who's brought hate as his main unifier. So of course she's going to come out and talk about it. And I think a lot of people are waiting for her to use that strong language.
but it doesn't seem to be working for her. I mean, you look at the poll numbers since the Democratic convention, and she's going back. She had a spike there, after the Democratic convention and with everything that happened with the Khan family, and I think that Trump sort of kept going with the same lingo, but he's
Right.
starting to change that lingo.
Well, he started going with the teleprompter now the last week or two, but to be perfectly honest, she did get a boost with the racism thing because I just read the thing that she got a boost on a couple of polls, but I'm waiting for the debates. I think that he's going to wipe her clean with the debate, but she might surprise us. She might really practice hard and
Are you kidding?
and
Are
come
you
with a.
kidding? When has he ever spoken about policy substance? She's gonna wipe the floor with him.
It's going to be
He's
interesting.
not gonna give any detail.
You're
Are
going to
you
have you're
gonna
going to have
be
a different Trump when these debates come out.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the
We've
Trump
been
that we
waiting for a
saw in the
different
Republican
Trump this
primary.
whole-
But he's done
Well,
good.
you're going to see a different Trump, and when that happens, I think it's going to sort of put Hillary Clinton in a position where who is this guy?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to, if she goes with the talking points that he's doing the primary, I think you're going to hear completely different things.
Cause see, he in the primary,
And
he
then
got pretty
who is
good.
the electorate electing into office if we have this guy who's shifting his tone all throughout the race?
Well,
How
he
can
just
you trust that?
he just says what he feels, and there's
And that's
nothing
not what
wrong
you
with
do
that.
when you're in his position. That is not. That's irresponsible.
Well, I think no, you're seeing what
Because that's what
the rate is already starting to happen is people are saying he's now meeting with African American leaders, he's meeting with Hispanic leaders.
Are you
He's
kidding?
actually
Have you heard what he said?
he's
to the
actually
African
meeting with
American
them.
community and said, "What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose to the African American community? What?"
But that's an interesting question because it's like what really will Hillary Clinton give to the African American community? And I think the reality is that it's not any different what she's going to give
Are you
compared to
kidding?
what Mr. Trump is actually going to do.
it's a lot of promises. That she makes a lot of promises, but I think a lot.
But they
of
both do.
And
I mean,
she-
now Mr.
And
Trump
she
is
fulfilled a lot
big.
of promises in her long career as a public servant. He has not fulfilled any of his promises as a businessman, let alone as a public servant, because
Oh,
he has
he's done-
no experience.
He's done great as a business.
Bankruptcies, foreclosures.
9 bankruptcy and 63 companies that were successful. So in the percentage, he's
Well-
doing pretty good.
Well, I wouldn't know because I haven't seen his tax releases, so I'm not really sure how we can bank on his income.
How is Hillary Clinton really helping minority communities? I mean, what are your examples that she's really transformed?
Policy that affects communities of any race and ethnicity. Healthcare for children. I mean, there's so many examples. You could just look at her record. I just don't have it in front of me, but I know that she has a long record of advocating for all types of communities.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and I think last month I would have said that Hillary Clinton had the advantage, and now
I
the
think
way
it's pretty close.
the way I see things happening, who knows where this is going to head up?
I think it's pretty close, and I think we're going to see a very, very interesting month of August. Well, the end of month of August, but a month of September, and I think a lot of issues are going to come up, and a lot of revelations are going to come up.
I just hope that Gary Johnson gets a seat at the table at the debates because. Yeah, Gary Johnson.
Exactly.
He's the former governor of New Mexico. He's the Libertarian nominee. And I think that this election in particular could use another voice. Because right now it's just getting bogged down with, he said, she said, and I think that could change the debate having another candidate in the mix.
Do you think the Louisiana mattered at all to Hillary by her not going, at least making a presence there? I mean, Trump went, and we know that was all, political. Obama stayed in his golf thing, but Hillary didn't.
Obama went a few days later.
Well,
Eventually
Obama
showed up.
went because
Obama
Trump.
had to hold off because the governor asked him to, because of the security detail it takes to have a president in your state. So the governor actually asked him to hold off because the resources required were not ready for him.
So he just continued golfing. I think what
I
Trump
think
did
he
was
listened
great.
to the governor, who the governor has come out to, but we're not talking about Obama. But yeah.
But Hillary, I don't know. What do you think, JD? What was
Do you
that a
think-
mistake?
I mean, we'd be criticizing her if she was there too. So I mean, it's just what kind of
Well, it depends
conversation do you
if-
want to have?
It depends on what she did when she got there. Probably.
And what did Trump do? Hand out stuffed animals? I think he did, or something.
No, he handed out food, and he made a $100,000 donation to a church, one of the parishes here. I think he did great. Of course, I'm not, for anybody. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, some other stuff that's come out this week is how the Trump campaign has been asked. Their rent at Trump Tower has gone up. Now that with the election, they have some campaign money going right back to Trump himself. The Trump campaign also made expenditures on buying his own book from Barnes and Noble. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were spent. Of course, we know where the revenue of that book goes to, directly back into his pocket.
well,
So it's been a very interesting week.
I mean, Hillary Clinton. We continue finding out more of emails or things that were
That's going to be
were not
surprising.
revealed. I mean,
That's going to be surprising. Oh, looks like we're coming down to another end of the segment. But we're going to definitely come back with our guest and Augie
and Judy.
and Judy, Augie and Judy, and we will definitely have a great show. So tune in, and don't forget to call in for your free gift certificate. Oh, great.
So, we're live, by the way, right now on YouTube.
Yeah, on
So
YouTube.
just so you know.
Yeah, it's being filmed on YouTube. I usually film it on YouTube, and we archive the show.
Oh.
We do it on a Saturday, but we Facebook it on Saturday.
So do you want to?
What? I can't. Oh, Jeffrey from Scottsdale. Okay, we're gonna take a call from Jeffrey from Scottsdale. That should be
caller on the line when you come back.
okay. Yeah, I can't hear you guys. Is there a volume to put up for you guys?
Yeah, you got your individual volumes right in front of you right there. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. They should be marked. It should say main or host.
Oh, studio monitor.
Yeah, you turn that up, or each one of them should say host on there as well. Oh, that one that's plugged. It's plugged into right in front of you.
This
No,
one?
no, far left. The one that says host. Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay, I'll put it up a little. That will hear you. Okay, so I'll
So you're
bring
gonna
in-
come back with the caller, and then, well, I guess see where he goes with it.
Yeah, well, we'll talk to him, and then we'll. I
'Cause
want to
you-
say something about the shooter, about the reward being upped in the community.
I thought you were talking about wasn't it immigration?
Well, he says that people, if an immigrant calls, he's not going to prosecute him. Is that what
Okay.
you're talking about?
Yeah. So what is that?
Yeah, where he says that. Okay, I'll just read it.
Yeah. You did that.
And then, you're gonna chime in about immigration, right? So I'll go straight to you.
Let's do the caller, and then you could tell that story. And I was just going to talk about. I was going to bring up the startup visa, sort
what?
of what Obama had just proposed with the startup visa.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was just gonna switch it back to you on that.
Okay. But I would go caller, you, and then if there's time.
What's this?
Okay, well, I'll go from the caller to you. You want
Go
to-
caller to you, and then if there's time, we'll go to the.
Okay.
It's from.
I see. It's good that we have different views, because it makes for an interesting talk show when you have different people with different views and not just one
Yeah.
standard view. And that's why. Thank you
I
for.
didn't mean to attack you.
Well,
I'm
thank
just
you
very
for-
passionate.
Well, thank you for contributing, because that's good. I told Martin that too.
Just.
Just what?
Judy, you're an attorney?
Yeah. I do labor law.
that kind of like what people think about this proposal to have more visas for startup entrepreneurs. I'll explain what I know. This is basically the first paragraph is basically the main thing.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Jorge El Alacran sitting in for Martin. And normally I'm sitting in the other chair, but today we have Augie Barton
Hello again.
and Judy,
Hello.
our guests. And we've been talking about Hillary, Obama, Hillary and Clinton, and the political process.
You don't want to say you don't want to say his name, Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, Hillary and Donald Trump, right. Oh, okay, we don't have a caller. Caller, if you'd like to call back, you're more than welcome. But anyway, Augie, you were talking about immigration and about the some new laws.
Yeah, well, let's take our caller. He's back on.
Oh, is he back on? Hello, Jerry from Scottsdale. Hey, welcome to the Chips and Salsa Show. This is Jorge. I'm sitting in for Martin, so Martin's not in today. But go right ahead, and you have a comment. That's Judy. Oh.
I'm sorry, sir. What policy details has Donald Trump released at all? Build a wall. Build a wall? Just what kind of details? I'm just curious. Unfortunately, I have to. Are you kidding? Oh my God. No, I mean she's wrought with detail. She gives so much policy detail and substance. He gives nothing. No, who is that, sir? Yes, I wholeheartedly support her. I'm not, sir. But thank you. I respect your opinion, and okay. Well, I hope he does. No, I mean, I just don't. You're giving me talking points. You're giving me exactly talking points. I'm not going to argue with you. You obviously have your position. Go ahead. He cares about making people angry and hateful, and what is that, sir? According to the Donald Trump world we live in, everybody is against everybody, and there's hateful rhetoric being spewed everywhere. Because his rhetoric is just divisive. Yes, it's the definition of rhetoric. He is hateful. He called Mexicans rapists when he called Mexican rapists and criminals. I'm not going to engage in a conversation with you, sir, because you're screaming at me with just. Oh, I haven't even heard a fact. You're just spewing. You're just spewing hate, and yes, you are. And you'll cast your vote, and I'll cast my vote.
So what do you think, Augie? Excuse me, Jerry. Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. Jerry uh, from Scottsdale.
Well,
This
I,
is
I, I do think Trump has had some divisive language throughout the campaign, and he's not, and so I mean now you're seeing him kind of go away from a lot of that rhetoric that Judy was referring to that he said in the beginning.
In the last week. Right, because that did not help his image at all. That was not self-serving at all. Every single thing he does is self-serving.
But
That is without a doubt.
well, I mean, I think
And you have your opinion.
any of the candidates that anything they do right now is self-serving. I mean that goes. But I think for a lot of Republicans and a lot of independents and any American really, it's still unclear exactly what Donald Trump would be like because he does have a business record, however he doesn't have a public service record, and so I think those are the questions.
I think he'll.
He,
I,
What plan? He has no details. Yeah, he'll have his
Yeah.
relative as a judge.
that's going to be a very interesting because we know what the kind of judges Hillary will appoint. Uh, exactly. That's true. No, it's gonna. We're gonna be in a lot of trouble if Hillary's elected. Uh,
Do you know what Sharia law is, sir? Just curious. And what is it? Please explain it to us. Please explain it to us. Go ahead. Go ahead, explain it to us. That had a lot of substance, that description. You're just like Donald Trump. That is not what it is. Okay, plain English. That's what Donald Trump speaks.
How would you define Sharia law, Judy?
How would I define Sharia law? I'm not the one saying that Donald Trump is going to enact or delinquent is going to enact Sharia law. I am not going to state something that I don't know how to define. I'm not a Muslim, so I don't know. That is not my place to say.
Okay.
He is.
Jerry.
You vote
But-
whoever you want to vote for. I'll vote
Okay.
for whoever I want
Okay.
to vote for.
Okay,
So
time out. Oh no, Jerry, we're coming to the end of this segment. Hey, call again next week if you can, and everybody tune in to the next segment of the Chips and Salsa. Thank you, Jerry. Well, stay tuned for segment two, our next segment of the Chips and Salsa show. That was good.
No.
It was good, but you're right. He should have been more.
He was an asshole. He called me Little Lucy.
That's what I did.
Yeah, I like to come back in because
Right, you're gonna come back in. Yeah,
like
I'm
this
gonna have you come
this is actually this is what I brought up in the second segment. This is exactly like what we're getting right now in the media. Like, I mean, we essentially just did the same thing, and it's unfortunate because it just ends up being sort of like attack, and there's not.
Well, they attack people for wearing that hat inside the stores. You know.
But it goes both ways. I
mean,
think
and,
it's not like it's
and then
really
people are
not
rude
about
to
it's not really
other
about
people.
substance. Like everyone's being
Instead of a conversation, they have. It's just attack, and not a sit-down dialogue. That's the way it
Right.
should be.
and
It's not like that.
and both sides are just feeling
Yeah,
disrespected.
They're both guilty of. Both sides are guilty of it. I mean, I work with a lot of Democrats, and they're all the same thing. You know, Hillary this, Trump's a racist, Trump's a racist, and that's all. They don't want to hear the whole story, or they don't.
Yeah.
Look at the whole. You know, I'm willing to sit down and dialogue with people, but not one-sided. It can't be one-sided. Dialogue is two ways. You know.
Yeah, but he was. Yeah, like calling her. What do you call her? Lucy the what?
Yeah.
The liberal.
Yeah, Lucy, because
And
that's not her
Tiffany
name.
is a little girl.
Yeah.
What do you say? Do you want to bring it back in? You sure?
No, she should be able to answer that. Why, her name's not Lucy, it's Judy. And she has a right to her opinion.
Yeah. Well, his language was kind of. I mean, it's part of like the issue too in that regard. I said that's part of like the issue is like calling, using names when you're talking about, someone who has a different opinion.
No, you should address that and address that people have a right to call in and have a discussion, but not disparage a person by trying to belittle that person. What they could do is have a discussion. I think this is the last segment. I'm not sure. I think it's the last segment, but it says show wrap up at 8:58. So when it gets to 8:58, then we'll wrap it up.
Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa show. This is the Friday night edition. This is Augie Barney here with Jorge Ortiz.
Jorge Lalacran, and we're having some interesting discussions, and Judy's here as our guest, and
Yes.
it's Judy, not Lucy, not anything else.
Davila Contreras.
Yes, and
Yes, a very good Hispanic name,
that's right.
unlike my Barney, which doesn't really hold up that much. But so we just had an intense call from Jerry. who we appreciate the call. Does he get a gift certificate?
No,
Oh, okay. I didn't know how that worked.
no, because we get the.
Sorry, Jerry.
Well, and it was kind of. I think the whole exchange was sort of what I was mentioning in the second segment of how what you see in the media right now is just this sort of back and forth. Trump does it to Clinton, Clinton does it to Trump. The supporters do it to each other. We saw it in that segment. Jerry used some language referring, I think, to Judy as a little girl or whatnot. Judy.
As uneducated, I believe he said.
And it's. And Judy may have used some of the
and us guys, the Hispanics,
the talking points that as referred to. But the problem I think with these conversations is it just there isn't substance in so much. It's just making attacks and I think as we move forward there needs to be in any sort of disagreement that we can still respect one another.
And I think Jerry meant well, but the way he came out might have been a little bit, and it was a little bit disparaging towards our guests. And our guests are entitled to have opinions, and we get into discussions with our guests.
Yes, and
regarding their
and we appreciate Judy here. I mean, I think it's obvious in the last show and this one that she doesn't share the conservative stance as much as the rest of us, but we want to hear from other members of the Latino community.
Exactly.
Because sometimes this ends up being one-sided.
Exactly.
So,
that's why we're honored to have her here. She's an attorney.
Yes.
And she's very intelligent, and she has her views.
Yes.
Jerry may be intelligent, might have his views, but the conversation should go a little bit more civil in the way people talk to each other. And I agree with you 101%.
And we do appreciate the calls, and hopefully Jerry will call back again and future show, and have a spirited discussion.
Exactly.
So we are in our last segment.
So I wanted to mention one thing about the serial shooter, the serial street shooter. The reward has been increased to $75,000, and for information leading to the arrest for this shooter. Marion County Attorney Bill Montgomery has said no charges would be filed against anyone's immigration status if they come forward to provide information in the case. He said anyone, and this is a quote, anyone who comes forward to assist with this case, whether a witness or a victim, their immigration status will not be considered whatsoever, and I will not consider charging a case that arises out of someone's immigration status as a consequence of this investigation. And I think that was pretty nice of Bill Montgomery to do that, because there's people out there that may know something. This community is ravaged by this, and we need people to step forward. And if you are here illegally and you have information, come forward. They've said that they will not charge you on your immigration status. And I believe Bill Montgomery and the people that said that they're not going to prosecute if it's a person and they're not here legally. They should not worry about that particular aspect, because there are people hiding, and they're not going to come forward if they're intimidated by their immigration status.
So sticking with the immigration topic, and
Yes.
and actually Jerry had brought up immigration in the last segment, and one thing that the Obama administration had brought up was startup visas for foreign startup companies that have had American investors. And so there's discussion now as to allowing more foreigners to come over here and essentially create new businesses, which, I mean, as far as all the Trump supporters, it seems like it would be in line with what Trump is saying in terms of immigration. But I don't know. I don't know if you guys heard much about this or are following much. I'm sure with everything that's going on, it kind of is a smaller story. But it seems like something here that at the end that's now being proposed, which it to me seems like a good idea. I'm trying to see
I
what.
think it'll create jobs if investors come and they want to open up businesses. As long as they're here legally and they have the proper paperwork filed with the proper.
Well, this would be basically a new. This is a new proposal, a new visa to allow more startup investors to come here legally.
legally.
Legally, right?
Okay,
This would essentially establish.
But people
a
can
new
do
visa.
that anyway.
Well, but
Anybody-
the laws would be changing to some degree to allow more startup capital from foreigners.
for foreigners.
Yeah.
So there's a limit on how many foreigners can start up businesses. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's changing. It's making it more lax in terms of the law to allow that. I think there are. I think there are major restrictions right now to allowing for foreigners to start up businesses.
I thought anybody that had money and if you're here legally, you could start up a business. But maybe there are rules that if you're a new immigrant or something, you can't start up. I've never heard of anything like that, but I will definitely research that because it is interesting. If Obama says they're changing the law, there must be something in the law that pertains to immigrants or something starting up businesses. So we have to really research that.
It's called the International Entrepreneur Rule,
International Entrepreneur Rule, huh?
and it would allow for foreign startup founders who've raised money from American investors to come to the United States for 2 to 5 years with the option to apply to stay longer once they're here.
Oh, so they'd be on workers' visas, something like that. They wouldn't
Right,
be
they would be-
citizens. They would be
correct.
foreign. They would be foreign
Correct.
citizens.
Absolutely. That's
So
that's
I don't
what I'm
know.
saying. So
I
it's-
think
it's
that-
allowing for more immigrants to come here legally that are starting up new businesses.
I'd have to look at the law there because, you know, there might be something in there that he's trying to change that doesn't really shouldn't be done. I'd like to read what the law says and what he's trying to change before I can
Right.
really comment on that. One thing I'd like to say, Google has learned from testing in Arizona about the driverless cars. They're saying that fully self-driving cars can remove human error from the equation and save lives. And Metro Phoenix is now playing an important role in helping bring this technology to the world. Self-driving cars don't get tired or distracted. They don't text at the wheel or drink and drive. They have sensors that can see 360 degrees in all directions. Now remember that, 360 degrees in all directions. And software that can track hundreds of objects simultaneously, even in the dark of the night. Humans, in contrast, have a 120-degree field of view and are even more limited when looking through rear-view mirrors or outside the range of headlights. So what I'm saying is, what we're talking about is these driverless cars are coming, and we have to get used to it. It's a new technology, and I think it's great. There's a few little kinks in it because that one that ran into a truck, I don't know where that was, but the guy got killed. But there's technology that's changing right before us, and I look forward to this. I'm 65, so I'm hoping that I can see driverless cars in my time.
You just don't want to drive anymore.
Right. I remember some movies where the guy would just get in the car, I think, and there would be a robot driving the car. Those are things you never thought would happen, you know. Well, our show is coming to an end. Please stay tuned for our show next week and for our Saturday show, which is tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And also next Friday, you'll have Martin here. You'll have Alice here. Hopefully, Augie, maybe you can come by and visit them. I'm not going to be here, so maybe you can.
I'm not going to be in town next week.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure there'll be a great show.
Oh, it will be a great show. And everybody.
We'll have the primary results by next week.
We'll have the primary results, and I
notice.
know that Martin and Alice will give you an update on that. And please mail in your ballots, your early ballots, and don't forget to go and vote on primary Tuesday.
And thank you, Judy, for
And
joining
thank
us
you, thank you,
again here.
Judy, for joining us today, and thank you, Augie, for joining me. And we'll see you next week.
you want me to stop this?
Yeah, just turn it off.
Where do you go?
I just turned it off on the thing.
Like where?
Right there, that button. Just to push it.
This?
Yeah, until it goes off.